Well, gee, let me go and see what my president has to say today. I mean, after all of that excitement and nonsense, I imagine he has something to say. Let's see, where is the real Donald Trump's Twitter? Okay, let's see. Let's see, there he is right there. Let's see. Okay, this is Donald Trump's Twitter. Oh! They suspended him. Oh my God. This is a day that will live in infamy. Trump made the mistake of taking on globalism. Trump made the mistake of taking on big tech. And as you can see, it doesn't end well. And believe me, I know, because I have a Facebook account that I'm still in Facebook jail for the next 5 days for saying something off topic and off color to somebody. But beneath, that's all, folks. That's all. Damn. Now, they hit you. Man, this guy had 88.7 million followers, but he couldn't manage to get 80 million votes. So, oh, well, that's too bad. Oh, well. Well, I guess that's it. For him. They banned him. Says this tweet is no longer available because it violated the Twitter rules. And by the way, I'm here watching Glenn Beck. And Glenn Beck is on Blaze TV. I was wondering where that guy went when he started gaining all that weight. This guy's on Blaze TV. He has, what is it called? He has a, on YouTube, he has a, what is it? It says, he was making a point. He was like, oh, big tech is cracking down
your stuff, like, right now.
On Blaze TV reporter. And I think a bunch of reporters lost their Twitter accounts and their Facebook accounts. But you know what? When I really think about it, first of all, I was thinking about when they stormed the Capitol, and I was just thinking to myself, if those bastards could have gotten their hands on Ilhan Omar, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, Nancy Pelosi, and let's say, who else? Rashid Tlaib, they would have murdered them. And there's a picture of a guy on there who had zip ties, and there's a couple of other people who had guns. And I'm thinking to myself, when I had to go to the Supreme Court, and I actually sat through a session of the Supreme Court, and I'm thinking to myself, they wouldn't even let me take my Apple Watch in there. Like, first of all, you had to take your phone, any electronic device, you had to take all that stuff off. They wouldn't even let me take my Apple Watch in there. And when I think to myself that these people completely bypassed security and they could have brought anything into those buildings. They could have brought anything into the Capitol building. Somebody could have had a bomb and they could have literally blown the Capitol building's top off of the Capitol building like Independence Day 4 with the aliens and the spaceship where they blow the Capitol building in half. And I'm thinking to myself, first of all, these people came there ready to murder people, number one. And they also came there ready to destroy the ballots. And just because they themselves didn't accept the election. And I myself have experienced that feeling because I didn't accept the election of 2000, but I just lived with it. But these people were determined to attack the will of the people, the electoral process, the states, individual states, all of those votes. They were willing to burn that shit. They were willing to destroy it. They were willing to kill anybody they came across. And they showed just by the stuff that they had on them that that's what they were planning to do. So when I think about the outrage and the outcry over Babbitt getting blown away by that guard in there, and I think about, the people who... Glenn Beck is upset about the fact that they're going after those people right now. He's, oh, no, the left is already starting to come after us. Well, I don't consider myself a member of the left, but I can already see that the tribalism between left and right is only, it's a vicious cycle that only continues to get worse. But when I really think about all the damage that could have been done Wednesday that wasn't done, and then you really think about it, I would say that right now there's a lot of black media people, and there's even Biden, repeated what they said. And I'm a black person, so I could say whatever I want. I don't give a fuck. But when I really think about it, they said, oh, well, if those people were black, they would have all been killed and this, that, and other. the thing that I think people are forgetting is the fact that these people who did this and went into the Capitol building, trespassing, violating it, insurrection, treason, whatever you want to call it, terrorism, whatever you want to call it. What's the other word? Sedition. I think the important thing to remember is that those people were Trump supporters. And Trump, at any time, knowing that these people were going to show up, having beckoned these people to show up, he could have prepared security to ensure that things did not get out of hand. But even in a poll that I put on my community tab, everybody knew that things were going to be violent. They knew that. So if I knew it and the people I polled knew it a week ago, nobody's going to tell me that Secret Service didn't know it, Congress didn't know it, Congress Sergeant at Arms didn't know. Nobody's going to tell me that all of those people didn't know it. So what they basically did, and now I hear them saying it, is Trump basically set up an insurrection. Possibly you could call it a coup. But he set that up for those people to come there to destroy the ballots, to if they could have burned them, if they could have stolen them, if they could have in any way tampered with them. He brought them there to destroy or to interrupt the constitutional electoral college process. And in addition to that, when those people got in there, obviously, based on just the gear that they had, some of them came there intent on possibly capturing or murdering sitting Congress officials and possibly even the Speaker of the House, because it's not as if we haven't seen this before. It hasn't even been, 3 or 4 months since they tried to do the exact same thing to Michigan's governor. So these people, I'm pretty sure that Congress is going to make examples of them, because that's what the government needs to do, is make examples of these people. I'm pretty sure Congress is going to hand down some serious jail sentences. And by the way, Kyle Rittenhouse is getting a jail sentence. So anybody who wants to argue with me, you can do that on the back channel. Kyle Rittenhouse is going to get between 3 and 10 years. And you can bet me $1, I don't care. He's getting between 3 and 10 years. Most of these people who entered that Capitol building, they're getting jail time. But these people are really, really, really lucky that this isn't Russia, that this isn't China, or that this isn't just about any other country in the world that actually manages to keep their crime rates low. Because each and every one of these terrorists or insurrectionists or seditionists, whatever you want to call them, each and every one of them would be getting executed in very short order. Very lucky that the only thing that's happening to him right now is his account being suspended. Because it's funny when Glenn Beck is talking about, and I listen to what they're saying, but it's funny that when they're talking about these people, big tech, big media, silencing you. I was listening to Andrew Wilkow this morning. Oh, they're just trying to silence the press. This quote, and I call him quote unquote president. I use quotes around it because, to call him a president to me is a joke. But he himself set up a situation where the Congress members could have been killed and the Senate building or chambers could have been set fire to or blown up from the inside out. So, at first I was thinking, I was like, you know what? Should Congress perpetually punish him? Should they go after him? Should big tech ban him from all these accounts and silence him and make a martyr of him to the 70 million tards who showed up to vote for him? And keep in mind, this isn't the first time we saw this. 50 million plus of these people came out to vote for McCain Palin after George Bush's economy collapsed. A couple more came out to vote for Romney after Bush's economy had collapsed and Obama took the wheel. And then my thing is, these people are out there. There's at least 50 million of them, in my opinion. And as you can see, 70 million came out to vote for Trump. But I was thinking to myself, should these people be perpetually punished on the internet by big tech? Should Twitter cancel them? Should Facebook cancel them? And then I'm looking at the violence and the destruction that they did. And I know somebody's going to say, oh, well, what about Black Lives Matter? Or what about Antifa? Yeah. Had Antifa stormed the White House and made it into the White House and gone up against Secret Service, they would have all been shot dead. All of them. That's not exactly what happened. They made their way onto the White House lawn. Some of them got arrested, so forth and so on. But none of them pushed their way towards the presidency. That's not what happened here. What happened here is these people pushed their way into the Senate chambers and they pushed their way towards the Congress. And when I saw that picture where you had all of those sergeant at arms and their guns are drawn and they got the batons in one hand, they got a pistol in the other hand, they point at that door where Babbitt got herself blown away. That's exactly what would have happened to Antifa had they kept pushing. See, the targets that they picked were public targets. They picked memorials, monuments, and the government, for the most part, wasn't prepared to deal with that many people. But in this case, they could have had better security because they knew that everybody was going to show up. And they could have protected those protesters, and I'm going to call them protesters because they were protesters up until it got violent. They could have protected those people by having adequate security. But what they did was by not having adequate security, and then we got videotape of a cop letting them come into the damn, the cage. They let them come in. And somebody said, well, they were outnumbered, so they had no choice. My thing is, if the police, if they're not going to enforce the law, if they're not going to enforce the law equally, if they're not going to draw a line that you do not cross, and if you cross it, X, Y, and Z is going to happen to you, then what do you expect but these people to cross the line and go right up into the Capitol? They could have literally burned the Capitol down. They could have literally blown the Capitol up. They could have literally caught those Congress people and killed them one by one. They could have taken hostages. So when I'm really looking at this, yeah, I think losing your Twitter privileges, I think that's just the start. I think losing your Facebook privileges, I think that's just the start. I think not being allowed to post videos on YouTube, yeah, that's just the start. I think what YouTube is doing, taking down videos from these people who are posting that bullshit. Oh, you're very special people. You're very special and I love you. I think, yeah, that's just the start. So YouTube's a private corporation under Google, within Google. So they can do whatever they want because Congress shall make no law. Congress has no right to tell them how to run that channel. But the bottom line is, considering the real life consequences, could have been a destroyed Congress building, could have been a destroyed electoral college process, could have been murdered congressmen. Oh, yeah, this is just the start. So Glenn Beck's up here. Now, by the way, Glenn Beck is the same person who was trying to convince everybody years ago that Obama had youth armies that were going to lock white people in FEMA camps. So coming from him, I might just go on Blaze TV and send something to YouTube and say, yeah, you need to look into this guy. Because the thing about it is, people just like him are going to keep this nonsense going. So if it takes all of you being demonetized and taken out of these social media networks and you take your bullshit over to Parler, I just want you to remember that I'm the one who filed that report and said, yeah, you need to look into this guy. Because when I really think about what you could have done, you're all failures and losers anyway, because as you've seen, you failed and lost. But when I really think about all the damage that you could have possibly done and all of the mayhem and chaos and death that you could have caused, I think losing your account privileges, not only is it just the beginning, but I think actually at this point it's not enough.